All right. Y'all wouldn't believe I've been talking to myself for the last 15 minutes. Like literally, it wasn't even that, it wasn't even that nobody was here. I was just talking to myself because guess what? I wasn't public. I wasn't public. And I realized and found out that I wasn't able to change the change from private to public in the middle of the stream. Hey, Temple, trying to be a senior citizen and work these gadgets and these and these this technical stuff. Oh, child. I was talking for 15 minutes and didn't realize almost 15 minutes and didn't realize that my stream was not public. It was still private. And so I had to literally like start it all over. I'm sure I'm gonna have to make a whole lot of changes to the description and whatnot. But girl, thanks for coming in. I hope people didn't leave and think that I was not gonna do this, but I'm here. And I'm doing it. That's right. I'm doing it. I'm here and I'm doing it. Thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate you, Temple. Um, where was I? I was actually in the middle of talking about the things that I had planned to do when I retired, right? Leading up to my retirement and at the beginning of my retirement last year, when I realized that nobody was here, nobody was listening. So let me start over. Zip, 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 zip. I'm Sabongale. This is We Don't Retire, We Ascend, because guess what? To retire means to pull back and to retreat. And we have absolutely no intentions of doing that, right? No intention. And so if you're here today, it's because I'm celebrating my 1 year anniversary in retirement. Yep, I've been retired for a whole year. Doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like it's been a whole year, but it has. It's been fun. I said there were highs and there were lows. To be honest with you, I don't think I've had any lows. I can't think of any lows off the top of my head. It's mostly been it's been all that. It's been all that. And so I want to talk about some of the things that I've been doing this year, some of the things that I look forward to doing in the future. And I want to answer any questions. If you have any questions about being in retirement, if you have any, if you're thinking about retirement and you are hesitant, if you have any fears or concerns, or should I do it now or should I wait? Do it, do it, do it, do it. Okay, so let's see. Thank you for asking that question, Temple. I retired. I worked over 45 years of my life. I didn't realize it had been so long, right? I worked the last 20 years off and on for the federal government, right? I worked in different agencies for the federal government. But over the years, I retired from the federal government, but over the years, I've done it all. I've been the security guard. I've worked in fast food numerous times. I've worked at Wendy's and Hardee's and Kentucky Fried Chicken. I worked. Where else did I work? I think I said I threw newspapers in the middle of the morning and broke somebody's window one time. I've done that. I'm one of those people. I don't have a problem. If I need a job, I'm gonna get a job, right? What else have I done? I've done a lot of things. I worked in warehouses, factories. I worked many years ago folding cards at Hallmark Cards in Kansas. I've done a lot of jobs, right? I've never wanted to work a job. Yeah, I've never wanted to work a job. I've only ever wanted to be a writer. That's the only thing I've ever really wanted to do. And so for all of you, if you're coming in the room, come on in the room, come on in the room. I messed up at the beginning of I was supposed to be live at 2 o'clock. Come on in the room. I'm talking to mostly just the temple. If there's anybody else here, please let me know you're here. Let me shout you out. At least give me a thumbs up to let me know you're here. But I'm talking about my first year in retirement. And if you're new here, I'm Sabongale. Come on in. If you are a Black woman, a Black or brown woman, and you are in retirement, thinking about retirement, and you have concerns about what life is like now, come on in and let me tell you, come on, let me tell you something. Careers are not jobs, and jobs are not careers. I think that word career is just something they told us to try to make us happy about going to work for somebody else. Actually, they probably are the same thing. I guess if you really, really love it, then maybe it's a career for you. I never had a career, even in the federal government, they like to say your federal career. It was still just a job for me. It was a job for me. So yeah, but I worked over 45 years. I worked doing a lot. Oh, I've worked in retail, of course. Worked in retail. That was one of my first jobs. My very, very first job was on my aunt and uncle's ice cream truck up in Detroit. They had an ice cream truck, and I worked one summer when I think I was about 14. And that's when I probably started gaining weight because the ice cream was good. But I was about 14 years old, and I worked on their truck. And then my real job that I actually started paying taxes on was a job working in Famous and Bar, which in St. Louis back in the day, that was like our Macy's. We didn't have Macy's back then. They have Macy's now, but it was owned by the same company, May Company store. And so I did retail. I've been pseudo secretary / admin assistants. I've done it all. I've worked on campuses when I've been in school, like, worked in the president's office and things like that. So I've done a lot of things. And so I feel like I deserve this break. I deserve it. It's my turn. It's my chance. It's my time. Right. But I don't like to always say specifically what agencies I worked for. I know I've always just been a little shy about that, but let's just say I worked at an agency that's under the radar and under the microscope right now by this administration. I don't want to get into a whole lot of politics right here, because right now I don't care. I'll care once I get off. once I'm off here, I care again. But right now, I'm having fun. Right. So after 20 years on and off at several government agencies, I retired. I retired last year. And I didn't have a big savings. I didn't have, I finally got my Social Security check. Okay. I got a Social Security check. I get a pension. And it's not nearly as much as I made when I was working, but that's okay, because guess what? I eat every day and I sleep indoors. Right. So I'm enjoying my life, and I'm finding that, and probably a lot of you too, once you retire, especially if you are of a certain age, when you're a certain age, for the most part, you have everything you need, right? You have everything you need. Anything that you wanted to do or could have done or should have done, you've done it. So you actually find that once you are retired, you're not spending as much money. And actually the pandemic taught us that, right? Because I started working from home full time during the pandemic. And all of those clothes that I bought to go to work, I wasn't wearing them, because most days I had on my house clothes, right? My sweatpants, my sweatshirts, t-shirts, and I continued to do that, right? So I actually ended up having a lot of clothes. I gave away some last year. I probably need to give away some more, because we don't do nothing with that stuff once we don't have to go out. Not to mention, I wasn't going to that coffee place every day that I love to go to. I wasn't going there every day. I was making my own coffee, and I continue to make my own coffee, right? I continue to make my own coffee because hey, my coffee tastes at least just as good, if not if not better. I've learned to save money doing that. And so the pandemic taught us that there's a lot of things that we don't need to do that cost money, right? That cost that extra money that makes us think we have to continue to work a job. Eating out every day or eating lunch, when you don't feel like cooking or whatever, or don't have time to make a lunch and take. All of that costs money. So I don't have to do that anymore. So I don't need as much money as I thought I did, right? I know some people think that they need a lot of money to retire. And I know a lot of people are hoping to be financially independent before they retire, or you think you have to have a certain number in your bank account before you retire. Well, I guess it depends on what kind of lifestyle you expect to live once you retire. In my lifestyle, I don't spend a whole lot of money. I do like to travel, but I can save up to go to the places that I like to go to. I might be able to splurge every once in a while and go someplace different every now and then. But for the most part, all my needs are met, right? All my needs are met. Actually, actually, I don't think I might have bought one dress last summer to go when I went to New York. When I went to New York to see Hamilton, that might have been the only, oh, and I bought me a Falcons t-shirt. No, Falcon sweatshirt. But other than that, I haven't bought any clothes. So let me get to for the first time, because I messed up the stream in the beginning, and I said I was talking to myself for 15 minutes because I was actually not public. I was actually still on private, but some of the things that I had planned, this is what I wanted to talk about. Some of the things I had planned to do, right, upon retirement. Some of them I did, some of them I didn't. Some of those things were writing, of course. That was my number one goal, was to get back to my writing. And I don't want to say hopefully. My intention is to become a full-time novelist, right? A published novelist, right? So that's what I'm actually working on now. I consider that my job, my career. Okay. Writing and self-care, of course, should be a part of your routine, whether you're working or not. For me, self-care is yoga and meditation and reading and swimming when I can get to the pool, right? One of the first things I did when I retired was signed up and registered at the senior center. I'm a senior. Actually, I could have registered years ago, but because I was working, I never had time to go anyway, so I never registered. But fortunately, in my community, the senior centers are very inexpensive. It's a quick way. And the senior center that I go to, sometimes it's so many cars at this senior center that I call it Club Senior Center, because those seniors up there, they don't play. They up there playing cards and having shooting pool and having Valentine's Day cookie socials and all kind of stuff. And so I actually look forward to going over there when I take the time to go, and going to my recreation center to do yoga and those kinds of things, right? I had one of my projects, and not only is this my first year in retirement completed, but this is also my first year on YouTube, right? One of my projects was to start a YouTube channel, right? Thanks to Stephanie Perry. I took her YouTube challenge, and that kind of pulled me out of my shell and made me get on here and talk about being a senior and being a Black woman aging in the 21st century, because we are out here, okay? And so that was one thing that I intended to do, and voila, I've done it, right? I've done it. I'm still not that great at it, but I'm doing it. Like Temple said earlier, I'm doing it. Of course, traveling was something that I always intend to travel. That's one of the things that I really enjoy doing. And last year I did travel a few times. I went to New York. that was kind of my bucket list. I've been to New York before, but I never been to New York and um, been to a Broadway play on Broadway. So that was one of my bucket list things to do. I went to New York to see Hamilton, of course. Everybody's got to see Hamilton. Went to the Guggenheim. That was one of my things I wanted to always do. And so we just went for a weekend and enjoyed it. It was wonderful, right? I was tired. My feet were probably hurting because we did a lot of walking, rode the subway, all of the New York stuff, went to Rockefeller Center. So we went there. We also went, of course, to Trinidad and Tobago, which is where my husband is from. His family had their family reunion in Trinidad. So we went there for that. And then, of course, we spent about 10, 11 days, 9, 11, 8, 9, something like that. It was more than a week. We stayed in Tobago, right? And so happens I was in Tobago when I turned 62. So I spent my 62nd birthday on the beaches of Tobago, and it was beautiful. We were also there during the election. I will probably always forever associate that trip with the 2024 presidential election. We did vote. We voted early so that we can go away and not have to worry about it. But with that election, everybody in the world kind of had their eye on it. And once they heard my American accent, people were basically consoling me because, I think we were all disappointed at the outcome. But I still, even after that, I still went to the beach and chilled out. Had a nice breakfast, went on the beach, and tried to forget about it until I got back home. Yeah. Go to the senior center. If you have a senior center, check it out. I know everybody don't have great senior centers, but check out the senior centers in your community. Usually it's a very low price. Some senior centers will take the silver sneakers if you're in the silver sneakers program, and you might not even have to pay at all to join. If your senior center is like my senior center, we have a heated pool that is a saltwater pool. They have all kind of classes, yoga. They have yoga classes. Although I take my yoga class somewhere else, but they have yoga. They have everything. So don't sleep on the senior centers, right? Don't sleep on them. So yeah. And also with traveling, I didn't. Let's see, what else did I do? Oh, I went to Little Rock, Arkansas, which is where my father and my father's people, my daddy and them, they're from Little Rock, Arkansas. And I went for my sister-in-law's 80th birthday celebration, which was beautiful, right? And I saw some things in Little Rock that I'd been to Little Rock before, but I visited some areas that I had never been to. One was the Central High School, and the Little Rock Nine, where the Little Rock Nine went to school. You might want to Google that if you don't know about it, but I went to Central High School, and my cousin, who is also in Little Rock, took us around and showed us some of the historic sites. That was one. Also, there is a sculpture, like a bronze sculpture of the Little Rock Nine students in front of the Arkansas Capitol there. Went by that, saw the Clinton Library. I think I'd seen the Clinton Library before one year when I was there. The Bill Clinton Presidential Library. So yeah, those were some of the trips I did. I actually didn't get started traveling until the middle of the year because, of course, as fate would have it, as soon as I retired, my master bath, decided it wanted to clunk out on me, right? So I had to get my whole bathroom torn out, had to get it remodeled, had to get a new tub, new shower, new everything. It was a mess. It had been out of order for 4, 5 months. It's a good thing I have more than one bathroom. So yeah, it was out of order for a long time. And finally we got that done, and it was after that that we started doing our traveling. So that was more like in the middle of the year. If you have to get your bathroom remodeled, word of advice, get as many quotes as possible. Even if it takes you 4 or 5 months to get it done, make sure you get all those quotes because the cost varies. But anyway, I digress. Um, I also decided that I'm still open to making money, right? Even though I'm retired, I've never been ashamed about the possibility of having to go back to work. Some people do because of money, right? I know that. And I don't have a problem going back to work if it becomes necessary, or even if it doesn't become necessary, because I want to make money as a writer. I want to make money as a writer. So even if it ain't necessary, I still want to make money, right? I still want to have an income. And so I've been learning about investing and trading and that sort of thing. Um, Learning how to, try to keep the money that you have and how to um, let your money work for you, right? So I've been doing that with some people. Sandra Jones from Lack to Legacy. She is one of the people that is so encouraging, and she motivates me a lot in terms of learning about how to let your money work for you, right? She's very knowledgeable about that sort of thing. From Lack to Legacy. If you haven't seen her online, check her out if you are interested in that sort of thing, and investing. And she's doing the 1,000, I think it's called 1,000 Women Investment Challenge. Check her out. But also, right before I retired, I started teaching English as a foreign language. I was already on Cambly. If you're not familiar with that platform, Cambly is a platform where you can teach English as a foreign language. You don't have to have a degree. You don't have to speak another language because you're teaching other people to speak English, right? And that's all they want to know. They just want to hear you speak English. In some cases, you don't even have to do a whole lot of teaching. They just want to have a conversation with you, right? They want to hear you speak English, and they want to practice the English that they've learned. Some people speak very, very good English. They just want to be able to practice it on a regular basis. And it doesn't pay a whole lot, about maybe $10 an hour, but depending on where you are in the world, $10 an hour is a lot, right? You get paid in US dollars. And when I'm done with this, I will put all of that information in the description. If you are interested in checking Cambly out and finding an online stream of income that you can do your own hours, work whenever you want. Cambly is, I would recommend Cambly to anyone who is trying to do that, right? I did go back to, I won't say go back to school. It's the international what is it? ITA, International TEFL Academy, which you can get a certificate in order to teach English as a foreign language. They have a couple of different timelines. I did mine, I think part-time, and I want to say it was 11 weeks, part-time in 11 weeks. And you can get your certificate teaching English as a foreign language. That would, especially if you are going to other countries, that will go a long way in helping you to, seek employment when you're in another country, right? And that was part of the reason why I wanted to do that, because I had anticipated the possibility of moving or living abroad at some point, right? And I wanted to be able to have some stream of income just in case. And so, of course, I'm sorry. I also did some scoring for a testing company, right? I don't know if you've ever done that. These testing companies that test children in, different grades, elementary, high school, they do the testing. I guess now it's probably some type of digital testing. I'm guessing it's something like what we used to take 100 years ago called the Iowa Basic Skills Test. Do they still do that? Child, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so I did some scoring for a testing company, right? I did that. I was supposed to organize a garage sale, but that never happened. Let's talk about some of the stuff I didn't do. I wanted to organize a garage sale. That didn't happen. Um, I had intended to attend a self-publishing conference. I didn't do that either. I registered for it, but I never did it for some other reasons that I won't talk about here. So yeah, those were some of the things that I really had intended to do. And some of them I did, most of them I think I did, and most of them I didn't do. I did get a lot of writing done. And as a matter of fact, this week I submitted to a couple of things. I registered for going to a writing retreat is something that I've always wanted to do. Writing retreat is like it was like any retreat. You go out in the woods, or you go out, and it doesn't have to be the woods. It could be whatever kind of space, right? But mostly where writers gather working on particular projects, right? And they maybe talk about and discuss their projects, and they take time apart from each other to work on their projects, right? One writing retreat that I applied for is in North Carolina at a national park, I think. So it's kind of like in a lodge, lodging, a national park lodge kind of a setting where you, again, have your quiet time where you write. And during that time or during that week, you only focus on your writing, right? You don't have the laundry to worry about. You don't have the kids to worry about. You don't have to worry about work if you're still working. But it's time to just focus solely on your writing. So I applied for one in North Carolina. I also applied for one that's going to take place in Austin, Texas, which is not at a lodge. It's going to be at a hotel, I guess, in a conference kind of a setting. But I'm hoping, keep your fingers crossed for me, because I am hoping to be able to take part in one of those, at least in one of those. And both of them come with fellowships, right, to help defray the cost of the, of the program. So yeah, I applied for those. I also submitted a short story for an online magazine. I did that this week, and also finally finished my memoir, Spit Out the Bones. You may have heard me talk about it on here. I submitted that for publication. I know a lot of people say, well, why don't you just self-publish, right? Self-publishing is an option these days, but that's not something that's not always been the direction I wanted to go in. I've always wanted to be published traditionally, right? And so I'm going to start out with the traditional publishing first. I don't want to start out with the self-publishing. So I submitted my memoir, right, actually to a university press. And so we'll see how that goes. I have to wait about 3. If you know anything about submitting work for publishing to be published, sometimes it takes a while, right? They don't be in a hurry to get back to you and tell you how fabulous you are. They just don't. Hey, Nika. Hey, girl. So yeah, I've done that submission. I have my novel that I'm working on, and I have a deadline for that as well. I think the deadline for that is in April. So I'm going to be really trying to get that done. So I've been working on my writing. That's the one thing that I said I wanted to do in retirement, and that's the one thing that I'm true to. So yeah, I'm just doing it. I'm just doing all of the things that I thought I wanted to do. And actually, sometimes I have so many things to do. I really feel like I'm working. I feel like I'm working because, because I have some other things to tell you too. So let me just finish this. So I was thinking about considering, it was just a possibility of finishing an MFA, because I had started an MFA program and a certificate in editing, professional certificate in editing. These are just some of the things that I talked about doing last year that I wanted to do in retirement. And So now that I'm in retirement, I'm doing most of them. I've traveled, I'm doing my writing. Um, I made a little extra income working online. And I started a YouTube channel. It's also my first year for my YouTube channel. So I've done I've done those things, right? I've done those things. I've done those things. So if you have any questions about being in retirement, right? Sometimes people are, I know I was a little nervous. I was a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little nervous because I guess once when you are working for over 45 years of your life, right? Um, there's something in your brain, I think, that says that's just what you're supposed to do, right? But we've learned over the course of the pandemic that your life doesn't have to be like that forever. And for Black women in particular, I didn't see my mother or my grandmother or um, most of the Black women that I knew when I was coming up, they didn't retire. If they were working, right, they weren't working a job where they got a pension or they, for whatever reason, they weren't looking forward to Social Security, or Social Security didn't pay that much. Maybe they only worked part-time, and for whatever reason, they could not retire or did not retire, right, in the way that we can retire now, that a lot of us are retiring now. Um, when I was growing up, as a matter of fact, and again, you may have heard me talk about this before, my mother basically was a stay-at-home mom, right? But not only that, I lost my mother when she was only 40 years old. I was still in high school. My mother passed when she was 40, and my father passed when he was 53. So neither one of them got an opportunity to retire. So when people are asking, well, are you going to retire at 62? Are you going to retire you're not going to wait till you're 70? You'll get more Social Security. All of those arguments for staying on the job until you're 70 years old. Child, I wasn't trying to hear that. I wasn't trying to hear it. As a matter of fact, when I retired, I was 61. I had enough years and enough time to retire at 61, right? And I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to wait for Social Security. I ain't waiting for nothing, because guess what? Tomorrow ain't promised. It just ain't, right? You prepare for the worst, but what is that saying? Oh my God. Expect the best, but prepare for the worst, right? And so I had no intentions of waiting for any of those things. I want everything I can get right this moment, right? So that I can continue to enjoy my life and enjoy it to the fullest, doing the things that I enjoy doing, right? And so that's what I've done. That's what I've done, right? So Anika, yes. Let me say, one of the things that I wanted to do was retire to Trinidad, right? That was in my mind. That's what I wanted to do. Go to Trinidad and retire. And you're absolutely right. Most of the people that I know in Trinidad are elderly or older. I won't say elderly, but they're older. They're not working. And I always say, when I go to Trinidad, I always have a great time, because I just sit on the gallery and eat some mango. I just want to be like everybody else, sit on the gallery, wave at everybody that's passing by, and eat some mangoes, especially if it's mango, particularly if it's mango season. And wear me one of those little shift dresses, let the wind blow through. I don't need a whole lot of excitement. I don't need a lot of excitement, because I just enjoy relaxing, enjoying my life, appreciating the things that I have, appreciating the things that I have around me and the people that I have around me. But yeah, most of the people that I know in Trinidad, they just be chilling, right? And that's why when someone always says, well, you should take a group to Trinidad and for Carnival and blah, blah, blah. I can't take nobody to Trinidad for Carnival, because first of all, Carnival, Trinidad be crowded for Carnival. That's the first thing. And if you don't have a way to get around, if you don't know how to drive on the other side of the road, it could be crazy. And so, yeah, I don't even want that kind of stress in my life. I have been to Carnival. I've been several times. I've played mass. It's a lot of fun. But if it's somebody who really wants to go over there and party and they want to go to all the fetes and this, that, and the other, that's a job, trying to control a group of people and do that, right? And enjoy your life too. So yeah, retirees in Trinidad, they do seem to just sit around. Most of them, they do just be chilling, right? If they are of a certain age, and by a certain age, I mean my age, right? Um, so yeah, exactly. Yes, and I love it. I love it because I've walked with my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law. I've walked with them through the neighborhood, and people know who they are. They stopped. We were walking through a neighborhood one time, and my brother-in-law asked the little boy to climb up his tree and pull some moringa branches down. Asked him, go ask your mama, can I get some moringa branches? And so, he had a big old moringa tree in the yard. So yeah, get some moringa, and then one other time when I was visiting for Carnival, I think this was in 2016, my brother-in-law's neighbor gave us a big bowl of mangoes. We just sat and ate mangoes for breakfast. So so absolutely. That's part of the fun in getting older. You ain't got to do nothing. I know a lot of people like to party still. At our age, people still party, but we party easy. Maybe I could say it that way. We party easy. We don't party hard. We party easy, right? Exactly. So yeah, let me talk about some of my focus for the coming year. And Anika, by the way, talking about Carnival, Anika, I hope you are able to see some of the events that they are posting on YouTube. When we don't get to Trinidad for Carnival, that's basically what we do. We like to watch the Carnival activities on TV, on live on YouTube, right? Fortunately, now I remember back before YouTube and all of that, man, every now and then you might get a feed and you can see the Carnival events on some computer channel on computer screen, and you be up all night trying to watch it. But now you got YouTube, you can watch it live, you can go back and watch it on replay, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. In Temple, I still don't know how to play spades. I still don't know how to play spades. I won't get into all of that, but I can tell you most people don't want me for their spades partner, right? So I'm gonna talk about a little bit about what my focus is and what I'm starting to do now, right now that I'm going into my second year of retirement. I guess at some point I'll stop counting the years, I guess, right? I don't know if I have a second and a third and a 22nd year retirement anniversary on YouTube, but yeah, I have some things that I've been doing lately, right? Didn't quite finish everything that I wanted to do last year, but writing again is foremost, right? But for 2025, now I'm gonna start out talking about school because let me tell you, at 62 in Georgia, I don't know if you know it or not, it's probably where you are as well. But at 62, you can go back to school when you are 62 tuition free, right? So now I don't know about y'all, but I went to school. I paid tuition for years. I paid tuition. I paid back student loans. I did all of that, right? So now that it's free, they're not gonna get rid of me. I'm probably gonna take a class every semester for the rest of my life. But check with your state colleges because I know here you can go to school for free, tuition free after 62. And like I said, I turned 62 last October. So guess what? I enrolled back in school again. I'm actually back at my alma mater. I think I've posted a little bit about it on my Instagram page, and I'm just taking a couple of classes, right? But that's still part time, right? That's still part time. I'm starting with Spanish. I had taken Spanish before. hmm and I did well in it. So actually this semester I'm just auditing the class because I actually already have a grade. I think I got an A or B in it. I already have a grade. So now I'm just kind of auditing the class in order to kind of do a review before I move on to the next phase. But I would like to get a degree. And fortunately, because I already have a degree from this school, I don't have to take any core classes. I basically just have to take the Spanish classes, the major classes. And if I were going to go to school full time, I could probably have another degree in another year or two, but I'm taking my time. I don't want to overdo it, right? And I want to enjoy it. Um, so yeah, school. If you are like me, I consider myself a lifelong student, right? I've been going to school for years, and people always say, "Well, when you gonna finish school? When you gonna finish school?" I finished a long time ago. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in English literature, right? Um, I've done um, I've done proposal workshops, to write proposals for fundraising. And I've done editing workshops and writing conferences. I do a lot of that. So I finished school a long time ago, but I'm finishing some more. And not only that, I find that, well, not that I find that, but the fact is, when you are a student, there are a lot of perks to being a student, not just going to school, right? And sometimes I think these kids, they don't take advantage of the things that they can take advantage of, right? All of the opportunities and the experience that you can get while you're in college and while you're in school. But not only am I taking classes, but I may be seeking some graduate work on campus. Again, just a way to make some extra money. My school isn't that far from me, so I don't have to get on the highway to go. And a lot of the teachers, a lot of the professors that knew me then, some of them are still there, and they recognize me, and everybody's happy to see me. So I felt like it was a kind of a home going for me because, like I said, I enjoy being on campus. There's something, I don't know. I don't know. I just enjoy being on campus. I enjoy being a student. After I got older, I wasn't so crazy about it back when I was younger. But when I went back to school at 43 to get my bachelor's degree, I was a better student at 43, 45 than I ever was at 18, right? And so I'm back in school and I'm taking Spanish. So that's one thing that I'm doing right now. Okay. Um, and in addition to that, one of my classes is a professional editing class, a professional writing class. And so within that class, I'm working on the school's journal, a journal that I helped to actually start when I was there before. I was one of the first editors, fiction editors for that journal, literary journal, and I was also one of the first published writers in that journal. So I am working on that same journal again. I've also volunteered to do some editing, work on the editing team for a monthly spiritual publication that I'm like a daily publication that hasn't started yet, and so but I did volunteer for that. Again, I'm still doing yoga, although this week I didn't do any yoga, right? I didn't do any yoga this week because I had some issues with my shoulder. But and let me just, before I finish this, let me just stop. I don't know if any of you were here at the beginning of this hour, but I kind of messed up because when I first started streaming, I wasn't public, so I had to kind of start over. But thank you for being here. I have over 100 subscribers now. I am so, I know 100 is not a whole lot. 100 ain't a lot, right? But guess what? It's more than what I started with. And I couldn't imagine having 100 subscribers even 6 months ago, right? But thanks to people like Temple with her channel, and thanks to H&D Abroad, my brother, my sister, Herman and D, thanks to Sandra from Lack to Legacy, thanks to Stephanie Perry, who helped me to get over my fear of doing this. I took her YouTube challenge. Just thanks to all of the people who have supported me over the last year, because this is my YouTube anniversary, right? This is my YouTube anniversary. Thanks to all of the subscribers who have been with me from the very beginning. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for lifting me up and supporting me. And look, tell your friends, tell your family, tell all, if you under 60, if you under 50, tell them all women in your family, go check out Sabongale on We Don't Retire, We Ascend, because to retire means to pull back or to retreat. But we ain't about that life. We about ascending and soaring, right? So again, thanks to all of you. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to everybody who's supported me. I appreciate you so much. Thanks to all of you who are here now. I'm talking about my first year in retirement. If you have any questions about retirement, I'm trying to look at the comments and do this at the same time. I'm doing this by myself, and I'm still new at this whole StreamYard thing, but I'm gonna get this under control one day. I'm gonna get it under control. So back to my 2025 focus. Of course, I want to devote more time to spiritual practice, which includes yoga and meditation. And I also want to continue my study of investing and trading, right? Because I really believe that's going to be key in growing my purse. And that's what I want to do. I really believe that's going to be key. And that's something that people been doing that for years, right? Back in the day in the church, they used to tell us that was gambling. And I guess if you don't know what you're doing, you are taking a gamble, right? But I believe that there are strategies that you can use in order to have a favorable outcome. I'll put it that way. Right. You can't get greedy. But it ain't necessarily like playing the lottery. You can learn strategies. There are strategies that you can learn in order to make a couple dollars, right? And so I want to continue to learn that information. And so also, I don't even know how I didn't talk about this. In my first year of retirement, something I always wanted to do. Y'all know about the growing. It's grown. It ain't even growing. It's grown. The movie productions in the state of Georgia, right? People come here to make movies, right? We know this because Tyler Perry has built a whole big old studio around it, right? But there are other studios. Tyler Perry ain't the only one. There are other studios. So there's a lot of work here for background actors. So one of the things that I wanted to do in retirement was work as a background actor. And so I've actually been able to work on some productions. And of course, if you've done background acting, then you may or may not know that you may see yourself on screen and you may not. I was a background actor for Tulsa King, right? I ain't seen myself on Tulsa King yet, but I was there and I got paid, so it's all good. I've done Tulsa King. I was in Fight Night. I was in one of the very last episodes of Fight Night. What else have I done? Some of the things that I've done haven't quite come out yet, but I really enjoy doing that work. It's actually very tedious. It's not as glamorous as it sounds. It's very tedious. It doesn't really pay a whole lot for the fact that you're sitting on set all day long, sometimes most of the night. But it's fun, and you are around a lot of fun and creative people, a lot of young, fun, creative people. And I actually enjoy it. I'm not going to be able to do that as much this year as I did last year because I'm in school, right? And those days get long. It depends. I'll have to be very selective in the things that I submit for. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And so that was one of the things that I did last year. And hopefully I'll have an opportunity to do some more again this year. I've already planned to do some scoring again for the testing company, because that literally just involves sitting on your couch, reading one or maybe two test questions that they give to children. And you read the kids' answers and determine if they've answered the question properly, right? Usually it's an essay question. And that actually pays pretty well. I think I made, I don't know how much I made in total, but I want to say it's $15 an hour to do that. So yeah, it's a way to make a little extra money. I'm always looking for new opportunities as a writer, right, to be published. I really want to. One of the things I was going to do last year was I wanted to be able to write more about Black women's health, Black women in retirement, Black women aging for magazines. And I did submit to some magazines, but I never heard anything. So I want to get back to that as well. I am actually working on my Trinidad residency. I am going to be working on that. I don't know when, if I'm moving. I know I go a lot, but I know I want an option, right? In this day and time, I want an option. How do you do background acting? Girl, you just show up, and when they say go over there and stand, you go over there and stand. When they say, okay, not go over here, you go over there. If they say look happy, you look happy. It's pretty simple. When you are a background actor, you are literally in the background. So even if you're there, you get paid. They usually feed you real good, right? Depending on how long you're on set, you're usually there anywhere from 8 to 10, sometimes 12 hours. I've been on set as long as 13 hours, right? Those days can get long. You're sitting in chairs that are most of the time are uncomfortable. Sometimes you're there all day before they even get to the scene that you're in. So you have to just show up. If they tell you to don't wear any color but black and blue and white, wear any color but black, blue, and white. Sometimes they may have wardrobe for you, depends. When I did Fight Night, they wanted us to dress like we were in the early 70s because that movie and that story took place, I think, in 74. So we had to dress like when we were at 1974. That wasn't hard for me. The only thing that I didn't have, they liked the outfit that I came in. The only thing I didn't have, they wanted me to have, was some pantyhose, some stockings, some really thick stockings. So they gave me pantyhose to wear. But I promise you didn't see my legs. You didn't even see my legs. And I think I borrowed a hat from somebody, a church hat from somebody. I was in church. Most of the time I'm either a church lady, a church member, a choir member. I think I'm a choir member in P-Valley. So you don't have to have any experience to be a background actor. You just have to be there when they say be there and follow directions, and don't be on set causing no trouble, right? How do you find the background gigs? If you are in a state or a city where movies are being made, right? You can go online on Facebook. Most of the time, it used to be a time back when casting directors and casting companies looking for actors, you had to go out and get the 8x10 glossies. You had to get an agent, all of those kind of things. You had to actually go to their office to sign up or whatever. It's much easier now, right? Now on Facebook, there are groups on Facebook that you can join for background acting gigs, casting companies that you can find on Facebook. And whenever they have a call for actors, a call for background actors, they'll put it out there, and you just respond to that, right? You respond to that. Most of the ones that I use are here in Georgia. If you are anywhere where they are making movies, in Georgia, in LA, of course, in New York, of course, right? These are the places where you're going to find the most work. If you are someone who wants to be a background actor and you are in Wichita, Kansas, you might not have a lot of luck finding background acting work in Wichita, Kansas, or Nebraska, or Wyoming, right? Unless they are coming to that state to do some work, in which case they will still be hiring actors from their offices on the West Coast, on the East Coast, and in Georgia. So it's not hard to find them. You just have to be in the places where they are making movies, right? And even if you are in another state and you're looking at these calls for actors, it's not unless you just want to be in a movie, want to say that you were in a movie, it's not going to be worth living in Kansas and getting a background acting gig in Georgia, in New York, because first of all, you're not going to make enough money to cover your plane fare. You won't make enough. You won't make enough money to cover your plane fare. Okay, so you're in Charlotte. You're in Charlotte. Oh, okay. Yeah, if you have filming there and you know of casting companies who hire, specifically for that area, whatever those casting companies are, or even if they are located in Georgia, because I think every now and then, like some of the casting companies here, they will be looking for actors, to be in other areas close by, like Carolina, what, Alabama. Yeah, I ain't never seen nothing in Alabama, but close by, you know what I mean, close by. So again, and if you just want the experience, it might be worth it, especially if you can drive. If you can drive from there to here, right? They're not going to put you up in a hotel, though. You'll have to find your own accommodations, and again, you're not going to get paid enough to cover that cost. So it would be up to you, but we can talk some more about that later. Okay. So yeah. So background acting is fun. It's fun, and especially if you can find it nearby, right? Usually the pay varies anywhere from I think the lowest I was paid was about $80, $88 for 8 to 10 hours. And if you do over 8 hours, you're getting overtime. You'll get time and a half, like any job. And the most I was paid was maybe about 120 or 30. And plus I got extra because they used my car. If they use your car, they may give you a $25 bump just for that, right? And it's so funny because with waiting on my W-2s, I don't know how they're gonna. You are taxed for it, right? So I don't know how that's going to work out for my income tax, but I think I have at least about 7 or 8 W-2 forms because of that, right? Between that, Cambly, and what else did I do? And the scoring, yeah, and then my regular job from last year and my pension. I got a bunch of W-2s this year. It's crazy. So yeah. So yeah, if you just want to do it for fun, if you're in Charlotte, you say you're in Charlotte, yeah, you could do it for fun, like come to Atlanta for a weekend or something during the filming or whatever, right? So, yeah, those are some of the things that I've been doing. School is what I'm focused on in addition to my writing. Writing is always first and foremost, but school, working on learning Spanish. I want to hablar some Espanol. And I promise my Spanish is better than that. I actually should be doing some homework right now. I have to get back in the habit of doing homework. And let me see what else is on my list. Just seeking those opportunities for publishing and writing retreats. Spending more time learning and understanding this StreamYard and learning and understanding YouTube. And trying to figure this out. I'm not one of those people who's trying to be YouTube famous. If I can make some money on YouTube, that would be nice. That would be nice. But that's not really my focus. Part of the reason why I really wanted to come on YouTube and create this platform for Black and brown women in retirement who are of a certain age, who are aging in the 21st century, is because that's what I write about. And a lot of publishers and a lot of agents and a lot of editors who are looking at, who they want to publish next, right? If you're looking to be published in a traditional way, a lot of those people in that business are looking for you to have a platform, to have an audience, so they don't have to spend as much money on marketing, right? With self-publishing, when you publish yourself, you have to market yourself, right? And a lot of times that can be a lot of money, depending on how you're doing it, right? Like I have my little book, and I keep showing it to everybody, right? I don't know if you can see that or not. I don't know how well you can see that. But anyway, it's kind of blurry. But now about that budget, I'll put that in the description. I did that. I formatted it in InDesign, and then I published it through Amazon Kindle. And of course, you end up paying a little bit to them, right, for them to publish it and to package it all up for you. You get a little, unless you are who? Unless you are Toni Morrison, the royalties are not going to be a whole lot, but every little bit helps, right? But these publishers, they want you to already have they want you to have an audience, right? They want to know that they're going to make some money too. So now the thing is, if you want to be a published author, you almost got to make yourself a YouTube star too. But we know I'm not a YouTube star, and that's okay. I'm a writer. That's what I am. But if YouTube can at least assist me in getting that audience, so the publishers don't have to work so hard, because I intend to be published, and I intend to be published in a traditional way, right? So look out for my memoir. It's called Spit Out the Bones. I just submitted it to a publisher, so it hasn't been published yet. It hasn't been printed. But it's coming. It's coming. And I have some other things in the works as well. So I appreciate everybody that is here today. I appreciate y'all showing. I don't know if I have anything else. I don't know if I talked about everything that I said I was going to talk about. One of the good things about being in school again, my school has a concert hall on campus, right? And they have some awesome, particularly jazz concerts, which is what I used to go see a lot for like $10, right? For students, it's $10. And because I used to teach, I was an adjunct professor at one time. I also can get a retired teacher's discount. So I can go to concerts for $10. But even better than that, you can volunteer and go to the concert for free, right? If you're a student, you can come. Actually, if you don't even have to be a student to volunteer for free. But if you like concerts, if you like music, if you like music of all kind, hey, Nika, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you, girl. Thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate you. Thank you. And thank you so much, Temple. I appreciate you. You already know. Yeah, I'm going to a concert this evening. I don't know if you ever heard of Ranky Tanky, but they're kind of a coastal Gullah Geechee jazz group. And I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be fun. Just to go and relax. It's close by. It's cheap, $10. So I'm looking for all things that are inexpensive and interesting and fun to do in retirement. I'm looking forward to this next year in retirement, so that I have more to talk about, right? I have more to talk about and build this YouTube channel up. I appreciate all of my subscribers, all of you who have supported me in this last year, who have cheered me on in this first year of retirement. If you're thinking about retirement, if you're close to retirement and you're just unsure if you should pull that trigger or not, I don't know if I should use that analogy, pull the lever. If you're unsure about whether or not you want to do it, just do it. Feel the fear and do it anyway. I was a little nervous in the beginning. I don't know why, right? Just because I'd worked for so long, right? But I've not worked for a year and I'm doing just fine. I don't live a glamorous life, but I live a free life. How about that? I live a free life. Okay. I live a free life. Yes. So I think that's all that I have for now. I've been on here. How long have I been on here? Almost an hour, about an hour. This is the longest that I've ever been on YouTube. And I enjoy doing these live streams because they're easy. You don't have to worry about editing. If I record something, I feel I'm compelled to edit. right? I think that's the editor in me, right? If I can edit it, I will. Yes, freedom. Freedom is why we sing. Freedom is, that's it, right? And despite what's going on in the world around us, I don't want to get into talking about a lot of politics or anything like that on here. If you've listened to me, you know that I'm very liberal. I'm very liberal. I have no qualms about that. I'm not ashamed of that at all. I'm very liberal. And so even though things didn't quite go my way in the 2024 election, we are here. We ain't going nowhere. And I'm looking forward to all that the universe has for me. I'm looking forward to all of it. I'm looking forward to this next year in retirement, even if it means going out making a couple of dollars. I'm still retired, right? And the difference is if I work now, I'm doing it because I want to, not because I have to. That's the main thing, right? So if I didn't answer all of your questions, if you had a question and you're on the replay, ask me in the replay. Go ahead and put something in the chat on the replay. I tend to answer comments on any of my videos, even if they come after I've recorded, after it's been live or whatever. Whatever it is, yeah. Just ask me. Also, check out my my website. If you didn't know, I had a website, sabongalelynch.com. It's also Spit Out the Bones. And I have a Substack newsletter, Spit Out the Bones. If you want to subscribe to the newsletter, I usually send out something at the beginning of the month. I try not to bombard you with a whole lot of stuff in your email. So I send out usually once a month, just a small newsletter. And you can stay on top of or know what I'm doing, particularly with my writing, right? I try to talk about my writing on Substack and the things that I do to encourage and motivate myself and to stay focused on that. I'll put all of that in the description once I get this video done. I will put all of that in the description. Please like and subscribe. Thank you, Temple. I will put all of that in the description. I'll put the Cambly information in the description if you're interested in doing Cambly, teaching English as a foreign language. If you're interested in getting a certificate in teaching English as a foreign language, I'll also put a link for that as well to the International TEFL Academy. Thank you all. I guess I should probably start trying to prepare to go to this concert this evening. I have to prepare to go to the concert this evening. It's not that far away and I don't have to dress up for it or anything, but it's going to be really nice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks, Temple. Thanks, everybody who chimed in today. Thanks, Anika, for showing up. Thanks, everybody, for showing up. Thanks for all of you in the replay. Again, hit me up in the replay. Hit me up in the comments. I will respond. And you all have just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.